Everyone, my name is Barry Burton. I'm the Pinellas County Administrator. As you're aware, Pinellas County is under a hurricane watch and storm surge watch. Our crews have been working around the clock, clearing debris, working on opening shelters, pre-planning and pre-positioning equipment and material, and trying to get ready for what could be a very devastating storm. Time for everyone to act is now. We can predict all we want, but the reality is it takes time to move a lot of people when a storm hits. And we're closely watching the actions of the storm, and most paths have it hitting us in the next 48 hours. The storm is far-reaching. The storm surge is significant, and the wind impacts will be felt sooner than the eye of the storm. This kind of storm can flip a house, it can tear a roof off your neighbor's house, it can have devastating impacts in your neighborhood, down trees, down power lines, and can have far-reaching impacts into the neighborhood. Everyone, and I mean everyone in Pinellas County, will witness some degree of impact from the storm. What we're asking is to take it seriously, to continue to watch and see what happens with the storm's path, but prepare, because it's too late to prepare once the storm is here. I'm going to turn the mic over to Kathy Perkins. She is our Director of Emergency Management, to give you a briefing on the storm and the maps behind us.
Good morning, everyone. Hurricane Ian is forecast to be a major hurricane, with tropical storm force winds extending out 90 miles and hurricane force winds extending out 30 miles. You can see from the wind field map that a significant portion of the state of Florida is impacted. If this storm continues to shift more to the east, we will feel those more significant winds. It's a lot of uncertainty to know exactly where it's going to be, so it's important that we prepare for the worst. At this point in time, we have been planning for a Category 3 storm to potentially hit us. You can see from the storm surge map that we have here, these are the areas of the county that we expect there to be significant storm surge inundation. This can be life-threatening. The areas that we would look to evacuate would be level A, level B, and level C. I need everyone, businesses, individuals, to check their evacuation zone. We updated our zones this year in 2022, so don't assume because you might have been outside of a zone last year, your zone hasn't changed. It changed for a significant number of people in the county. We will post on our website, storm.pinellascounty.org, our risk viewer that shows this map, so people can look at this and they can understand what type of impacts they could see in their neighborhoods. This is going to be a lot more than what people saw for Hurricane Eta a few years ago. So for those of you that lived on the barrier islands and had that flooding, you can expect something more significant with that. The other challenge, well, many challenges with this storm, is we are expecting 10 to 15 inches of rain. Our ground is already saturated. Our public works folks have been actively working to pump down Lake Taylor, Lake Seminole, pumping in Brooker Creek. But we do anticipate there will be significant flooding in relation to this rainfall. The bad piece of news we got this morning is that this storm is trending to slow down, which means it potentially could sit on top of us for 47 hours. That's a lot of rain, and it's not going to be able to drain out quickly. If you live in an area that is prone to flooding, I need you to protect your home, raise your belongings, and be prepared. If you live in one of these storm surge areas, you need to prepare to evacuate. This is no joke. This is life-threatening storm surge. We have been actively working with homeless outreach teams to reach our vulnerable populations, to provide them with awareness and to let them know what services are available. We are actively reaching out to our special needs registrants, which is over 4,000 people in our county, to confirm that they want to evacuate, and we'll begin transporting some of them this evening and continue with that evacuation tomorrow. We are actively working with our hospitals and our long-term care facilities in the areas of inundation. We have 99 facilities that are at risk. We ask that our long-term care facilities begin their evacuations today. We're already seeing some of our hospitals do that. We will be opening general population shelters tonight at 6 p.m. at Ross Norton Community Center in Clearwater, Lealman Exchange Community Center in St. Petersburg, and Largo High School in Largo as a general population and pet-friendly site. You can find the addresses for these shelters on our website at storm.pinellascounty.org. We will be opening additional shelters tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. If you can stay with friends or family, we encourage you to do so. If you plan to leave the county, I encourage you to do that early. Other counties are starting to order evacuations, and you will see that what is normally a 1-hour drive to Orlando may become a 4-hour or a 10-hour drive as traffic builds up. We will be running transportation through PSTA buses. They run from 5 a.m. to midnight. The County Information Center is available if you have questions or you need to talk to someone. That number is 727-464-4333. We also provide live chat, and you can access that through our pinellascounty.org website. We encourage you to go to the storm.pinellascounty.org site to look at our risk viewer. You can look up your evacuation zone. It will link you to the evacuation centers that will be opening so you can find the addresses. We also encourage you to sign up for Alert Pinellas. Alert Pinellas we send out notifications directly to your cell phones, your emails. We'll let you know when we're calling evacuations. We'll let you know when shelters open. We'll be messaging through that and Ready Pinellas and social media and all of our media outlet partners for safety information and for information for where you can go if you need assistance. Today, everyone should be topping off their gas tanks, getting their non-perishable foods, water, medications, and items ready, whether you're evacuating or sheltering in place. Your plans should include all members of your family, including pets. I ask each and every one of you to look out for your neighbors, exchange phone numbers, work together for supplies. Look out for the elderly and vulnerable, your friends and neighbors, and check on them to make sure they have what they need. If possible, invite them into your home. This is going to be a scary event. So if you're together with friends or family, it just makes it that much better for you. If you are outside of one of our evacuation zones and you can invite someone into your home to shelter with you, we ask that you do that. Reach out to your coworkers, your neighbors, your friends. Again, you can find out more information on what to have in your kit, how to prepare your home, information on generator safety, how to clean up after flooding, what to do if you have damages to your home. You can access all the information on our website through storm.pinellascounty.org. We also have information in our Ready Pinellas app, and once you've opened up one of those tabs in the app, it will save that information to your phone. So if the internet goes down, you'll still have the information in the palm of your hand. We encourage everybody, as I said, who may be leaving the county or have an alternate place to go to start so today. We ask that the tourists that have been here and enjoyed our beautiful beaches and beautiful weather to start heading home. We want you to have fond memories of Pinellas County, and we invite you to come back when this is over. We want to stress that if you live in a mobile or a manufactured home, regardless of where it is in the county, you will need to evacuate. These winds are going to affect the entire county. I want to thank everybody who has been working around the clock to help our community prepare. People in grocery stores and gas stations have made sure that they have supplies available. All of our agencies and partners that have been working on activities to support preparedness. It might seem like an easy feat to open a shelter, but it takes a lot of coordination. We thank the school board for their support and coordination and all of our partners. Each of you has a role to take, and the time to do that is now. With that, I'll turn it over to Sheriff Galtieri.
Thanks, Kathy. So the challenge for us during the last 48 hours or so is to get it right, to make the right calls. It's an art, it's not a science. We don't want to underreact, we don't want to overreact. We want to hit the sweet spot and make sure that we get it right as far as the public's concerned in the messaging. That's why we're here this morning, because all the information tells us that this is very serious. We need to respond accordingly. There will come a point in time where there will be a mandatory evacuation order. That's not right now, but it will come. And as has been said by the county administrator and by the director of emergency management, we really, really encourage everyone to put into motion right now the plans that you have. And whether it is sheltering in place, whether it's moving to friends, relatives, whether it's leaving the area, or you begin tonight or tomorrow morning and move into a shelter, is you need to affect it. And especially for those people that are leaving that plan to evacuate, now is the time to do that. And I want to be clear, as we always talk about during these situations, the difference between what we're saying today and what we're saying when we issue a, quote, mandatory evacuation order. We have a lot of low-lying areas in this county, and the projected storm surge is significant. Safety Harbor, Oldsmar, northeast St. Pete area, of course, the Gulf Beaches. Is that really what it means is that we're not going to come help you. When we issue a mandatory evacuation order, there will reach a point where the first responders are going to come off the street. And if you don't heed what we're telling you, and we're telling you that you need to act, you need to move, you need to evacuate. And when we issue that mandatory evacuation, what that means is that if you don't and you call for help, we're not coming because we're not going to put our people in harm's way and put them in peril because you didn't listen to what we told you to do. So nobody's coming and knocking on your doors. Nobody's coming and taking anybody out when it says mandatory. What that means is you need to do it, and if you don't do it, you're on your own. Please don't put yourselves in that situation. Is that listen to what we're saying, is that this is the real deal. This is serious. There's every indication that we're going to have significant impact here in Pinellas County. Now, I can tell you that we're prepared. The Sheriff's Office is moving all of our high water rescue vehicles into place. We have numerous of those boats, all of the things that we need to do with our dive team, et cetera, for especially upper Tampa Bay, the Gulf Beaches, again, that area in northeast St. Pete. Coordinating with local law enforcement throughout the county. We've got our plan going in, our plan during, our plan after. So we are prepared, and we're going to do everything that we possibly can to keep Pinellas County as safe as we can be. But we need you to help us in this endeavor, help us help you, and that is listen to what's being said, listen to the directions, listen to the warnings, and the fewer people that are in harm's way that eventually we do have to go rescue, we can focus on other things. So. Again, we're here, we're going to get through this, but please listen to what we're telling you at this point, and now is the time to act. And I believe next is Chair of the County Commissioner, Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everyone. You've heard a lot of good information this morning already. That will be our number one job in the next 24 to 48 hours, is to make sure that you have the best information possible so that you can make the right decisions for you and your family. I grew up in Pinellas County. I'm a native. I understand that we've seen scares and things before. Sometimes that leads folks to take things for granted. I would tell you now is not the time to do that. There is no scenario where we will not feel significant impacts. You need to make the best decisions for you and your family at the right time. Pinellas County employees have been working around the clock and will continue to do so to get us through the storm. We'll provide that information. We will continue to work with our city, state, and federal partners to make sure that we have all the resources necessary during the storm and the aftermath. But please, folks, again, A lot of us have been here a long time, and sometimes we take these things for granted. Now is not the time to do that. Now I'd like to turn it over to the Mayor of St. Petersburg, Ken Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. I'd like to thank our county partners, Sheriff Gualtieri, and all the municipalities around the county for their great work in preparing for this storm. And like the chairman said, I just want to emphasize that this is a very real threat that this storm poses to our community. And while we pray for a westward movement of the storm, there are models that predict tracks that would bring a great deal of surge and wind damage to our county as a major hurricane. So please heed the evacuation orders. If you're not in an evac zone, be prepared with food, water, medication for 7 days. And please look out for your neighbors, the elderly, and others in your circle who are not prepared. The St. Pete EOC is also activated. We're securing facilities, work sites, and equipment today. We have 3 locations for sandbags operating at Lake Maggiore, Northeast Park, and Northwest Pool. This could be the storm that we've hoped would never come to our shores. I know that our partners across the region and here in Pinellas County are working to ensure everyone's safety and recovery after the storm. But today, we need you to heed the direction of the county leadership and our first responders and remain vigilant. We will make it through this only by working together. Please be safe. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll open it up for questions.
What do you anticipate for a storm surge, say, in St. Petersburg or in your county?
Go ahead.
And where do you think the storm surge will be?
So this map over here shows the levels of storm surge. We anticipate the areas where it will be worse are in the inner parts of Tampa Bay. What will happen is as the storm surge comes in, it'll get pushed into Tampa Bay, and then it has no place to go but up on land. So we're very concerned about the area up here for Oldsmar, very concerned here. We're looking at down in St. Pete Beach, anywhere from 6 to 10 feet of surge with this particular scenario.
And then back over at the mic, could you just explain what happens to somebody who doesn't know or seen storm surge like that before, 6 to 10 feet, what happens to that part of the county? Do houses go under, or hotels? Or
So at 6 to 8, 10 feet of storm surge, and remember, this is like a wall of water coming in, and it will come in very rapidly, very powerfully. This could push houses off of their foundation. I think taller buildings would be okay, but don't hear me saying if you live in a high-rise or in a hotel, you should stay. You still need to evacuate. There's going to be significant debris and damages. Roads could be washed out. Bridges could be impacted. Most high-rise buildings, all of their electrical equipment, elevators, everything is down on the ground floor. All that stuff is going to be washed away. And as the sheriff said, we have to make sure that our first responders are safe. So police and fire are not going to be out there to help you. So if you live anywhere in these areas where this inundation is going to occur, you need to evacuate. That's life-threatening storm surge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know it's hard to say when these evacuations could come, but what kind of factors are you looking at before that decision will be made?
So we're continuing to watch the trajectory of the storm, the timing of the storm. You know, it's really important. So that's why today we're encouraging, like I said, we want the tourists to leave. We want those people that are going to go out of county to leave. We want our long-term care facilities and our hospitals to start that evacuation because it is time-consuming. And then, you know, we're looking at, you know, I'll be tomorrow to call that evacuation order. We want to make sure that we get people out of harm's way.
Can I just add to that for a second here? Because and I want people especially to know, when the mandatory evacuation order is issued, is that that's when we start locking down the beaches as far as people going back in who don't belong out there. It restricts ingress, egress. That's why we're trying to balance this. I want to be really clear about this. For all practical purposes, get out right now, okay? Everybody needs to go. And we're trying to, again, be judicious in this implementation of the mandatory, because when that happens is when stuff starts to get locked down and people can't go back and forth, and we're only letting residents out there, and it's much more restrictive. So we're trying to give people flexibility, but nobody should think that because we're trying to be as pragmatic about this as possible and as reasonable and allow people that fluidity to get back and forth, that in any way, shape, or form, anything we're saying now means wait. It doesn't. It means go.
Sheriff, before you leave, are we doing anything different for the jails right now, sir?
So the jail has a vertical evacuation plan. There's multi-story buildings out there. It is a concern. It is close to Tampa Bay. I think we'll be okay out there right now. We have the right plans in place. The biggest concern I have out there would be electrical. We do have backup generators, et cetera. Plumbing is another problem at the jail. We have just under 3,000 inmates currently in the jail. We have no plans to move anybody, and we will affect the response plans that we have in place. So I think we're going to be okay out there. But again, we're monitoring it. I know across the state there has been a request sent out for the jails that have open space that are in less vulnerable areas. So if we have to move inmates, we'll move them to those jails that have open space. Right now, I don't anticipate having to do any of that.
Any last questions? All right, thank you all for coming.
That's good.